Yesterday, we got a massive update on the upgrades that are coming to Great Stirrup Cay, Norwegian Cruise Line's private island. What's going on, everyone? My name is Brandon. If you like cruise news, cruise vlogs, and ship tours, make sure you hit that subscribe button down below and hit that notification bell to be notified every time we upload a new video. Anyways, let's go ahead and jump right into it. So, over the last couple months, Norwegian Cruise Line has been saying a lot of updates are going to be coming in the next couple years to Great Stirrup Cay, primarily, and I guess most importantly at least, is the addition of the new pier. The new pier is, of course, going to be large enough to be holding 2 ships there, which is a huge improvement over what they have right now, which is just a tender service where they anchor just offshore. And if the weather is even slightly choppy, they just have to turn around and go to the next port. So that's the biggest flaw right now with Great Stirrup Cay, is the fact that it's very difficult sometimes to even get there or even to go there. So the addition of this dock is, of course, going to make a huge difference and allow them to actually dock there more frequently, similar to what we got several years ago when Royal Caribbean added the dock to Perfect Day at CocoCay. But the dock, of course, we already knew about. That wasn't really the big heavy hitter of yesterday's announcement. During the big, I guess, announcement originally was that they were going to add, a kids splash zone, a new tram system, a large pool. And so yesterday we got the big reveal of that new water park and new area that's coming to Great Stirrup Cay. And I've got to say, at least me personally, I think it looks absolutely incredible. This new water park will be called the Great Tides Water Park and set to open in the summer of 2026. So it's got a pretty cool name, but what's going to be in this water park? It includes 19 different water slides, a lazy river, a 9,000 square foot splash zone for kids. There's going to be something called Tidal Tower that is 170 feet and 8 different water slides. I don't know if that's included in the 19 number that I put out earlier, but nonetheless, 8 different water slides. It looks like it's just a giant 170 foot tower basically, and it's goes straight down maybe into the pool. But then we have Cliffside Cove, which has a couple race slides, cliff jumps, which I thought was pretty crazy because, there's a whole safety aspect of that with doing high dives and jumps like that. But we have 2 different heights. There's a 10-foot cliff jump, and then there's a 15, which in the grand scheme of things isn't that big or anything like that, but it's crazy that they are doing it because that is a really cool, little fun, thrilling thing for them to do. There's probably going to be a height restriction and age limit, things like that, just because you don't want any 5-year-old kids jumping 15 feet down into a pool. But it's got to be a pretty deep pool as well for some quote unquote high dives like that. As I mentioned earlier, there also is a lazy river, which I think is really cool. Those are so much fun, just to kind of sit back, relax, and just kind of float around all day. But it did say there is a bit of an accelerated current to it. So it might be just a little bit quicker, or maybe it's something along those lines to where maybe it's moving a little bit faster than normal, or it's just something where they are saying, yeah, there's a current to take you through it, but nonetheless, a accelerated current within the lazy river, which sounds like a lot of fun to me. There's also a tunnel within the lazy river that you go through. There's all sorts of lighting effects and stuff like that. It looks really, really neat, as you can see in this little clip here from Norwegian. And then going back to the kids' splash zone area, huge 9,000 square foot splash zone for the kids. Lots of water slides, a huge obstacle course for them to kind of run around in, the giant drench bucket. It looks very, very fun. It looks great. It's going to be great for kids. The cool thing about this big water park expansion that I've noticed, at least in the renders here, is that this is all secluded from the main entrance of the island and what I would assume would be the main relaxed beach day type vibe that you would get. This seems to be kind of tucked back into the corner of the island, which is good because you don't want all the noise pollution from the yelling and screaming of the water park. With Royal Caribbean, I don't really get that, or at least I haven't never noticed that in Royal Caribbean, but with Perfect Day at CocoCay, the Thrill Water Park is literally right in your face as you come off the dock. And there's some people, not all, but some people don't really like that because the relaxation is right next to all the adrenaline junkie type of stuff, and it doesn't really mix well. So it's really cool, especially because I know Norwegian is more of a laid back cruise line as well. Carnival and Royal Caribbean for sure are definitely a little bit more active and lively audiences and crowds on their ships, but you usually get a more laid back vibe on Norwegian. So this I feel like is better because a lot of people probably are looking to lay back a little bit more to where they can keep all of the thrill factor stuff out in the back. So I do like that they've kind of, at least looks like they thought that through. And I've already mentioned CocoCay, but like in comparison, we have Celebration Key that just opened, which I have plenty of opinions about. But it's just right there in front of your face. Like you've got the slides basically going through the entrance gate to it. Yeah, you've got the big long beach and everything like that, but basically the whole personality of this private destination is this giant, water park looking thing, which Norwegian seems to be kind of spreading all of what they have to offer in Great Stirrup Cay out throughout the island, which a big nice part about Great Stirrup Cay versus CocoCay is that it's significantly larger. If you've ever been to CocoCay, it is a very, very small island, especially when you compare it to Great Stirrup Cay that's literally right next door. These two islands, you could literally build a small bridge to connect the islands. But Great Stirrup Cay has a lot more real estate for them to kind of spread out what they have to offer here at Great Stirrup Cay. And because they have all that real estate, one thing that they are adding as well is a tram system to go all the way around the island over to this new water park and all the way to the front entrance, all around, which is fantastic. Obviously, there's a lot of, so I'm sure a lot of people would more than likely want to just take the tram regardless. CocoCay has their tram as well that kind of goes around the island, and it's very heavily used. Every time that I have been to CocoCay, it's almost always full. So definitely something that's going to be really useful for this new expansion to the island, as they don't really use a whole lot of that area right now. So that was the big thing that we got yesterday in yesterday's announcement, but we're apparently not done yet, and they have a lot more to still show us, including something that was mentioned is some aquatic racing, or at least an aquatic race course with jet skis combined with go-karting somehow. Very interested to see how that turns out or what that even is. There will also be a place called Horizon Park with lawn-style games. I'm assuming that means cornhole. That's the first thing that comes to my mind, at least. Also with pickleball courts, which is awesome. Pickleball is something that's at least really popular here in Florida, but it seems to be gaining a lot of popularity everywhere. And also 9-hole mini golf. Really cool. So that combined with Hammock Bay, apparently just a giant area with over 50 hammocks, and Vibe Shore Club, an adults-only area, so we're getting a competitor to the Hideaway Beach right next door in CocoCay. So there's a lot that this new island or this revamped Great Stirrup Cay is going to have to offer for everybody. And honestly, there's so much here, at least like I'm just talking out loud here. They could leave a ship here for 2 to 3 days, and I'm sure you wouldn't be able to do everything here. So there's a lot of really exciting things coming to Great Stirrup Cay. This looks absolutely incredible. I think they've absolutely nailed this, and I hope everything goes exactly how it looks in the renderings. Obviously, there's probably going to be some more changes throughout the execution phase of all of this, but this looks amazing. I am giving huge props to Norwegian. I used to always say, like, they've probably got the worst island, and I say worst, kind of loosely there, because it was a great island, and it kind of served a different purpose than CocoCay right next door. But when you compared it, it really wasn't anything up to what we saw next door. So having this almost on par or equivalent to CocoCay right next door, or at least maybe even a little bit better because of how much more real estate that they have and how much more it's spread out too, I think CocoCay might have a competitor on their hands here in the next, 12 to 24 months or so. As I mentioned at the beginning, this is set to all be completed in the summer of 2026. So as of July 29th of this being recorded and also announced, that this is all probably within 12 months or maybe just a little bit over 12 months away. So we really don't have to wait too long for all of this. And I feel like all the timing of this is very, very good as well, because we just got Aqua, of course, But Luna comes out next year in 2026 as well, and she's going to be home ported here in Miami. And I personally could not wait for that cruise on Luna now because I want to try all of this. But I feel like I'm going to be cruising with Norwegian more often if this really comes out as great as it looks. And after Luna, of course, we have the fifth and sixth ships in the Prima class, which are basically the ultimate versions of it because they are 20% larger than the Prima and Viva. So they'll be the largest ships in the fleet at the time, and I'm assuming are only going to be perfect when it comes to being here in the Caribbean. And then shortly after that, we have the large 200,000 ton project. So things are looking great for Norwegian Cruise Line. There was a time there for a little bit where I was like, they're kind of falling behind a little bit with the way Royal Caribbean has just absolutely been taking off ever since they opened up CocoCay in its current form, because they've been launching Oasis class after Oasis class, and now the Icon class is coming out. Star of the Seas comes out in 3 weeks. They are absolutely just steamrolling the entire industry right now. And MSC is coming in pretty strong-armed as well, just bulldozing their way into the conversation now too. So this is going to pull Norwegian right back into the mix of everybody. So I'm really glad to see this, and I really think this is going to turn out great for Norwegian. And I cannot wait to try this out for myself when I sail on Luna. But that's all I have for today's video. Let me know down in the comments what your thoughts are on this. I'd love to hear it. And of course, let me know if you're planning to sail here or if this is going to make you book a Norwegian cruise. Be sure to leave a like if you enjoyed this conversational style of video. And of course, all the upcoming stuff as well. I have a lot of stuff coming from Star of the Seas pretty soon with her launch. And of course, just more coverage of the Great Stirrup Cay updates as we start to get more and more information, because a lot of this stuff that they haven't shown off yet does look pretty intriguing. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed, and we'll see you next time.